Okay, so you've imported your properly sized, I call it your frame front. You've got an inside frame and an outside frame. You've used the shape builder tool over here to remove all the extra lines, so we're not cutting anything out with a laser we don't want to. The next step is we need to connect the inside frame and the outside frame. Completely up to you whether you do it simply or whether you add more complex artwork. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and show you a number of different methods that you can use in this tutorial. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to go over here to my artboard, and I'm going to go over to properties, and then I'm going to click on this little plus over here. I'm going to make myself some new artboards, and so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make myself 4 of them, and that way I can also just go Control C, Control V with the artboard selected, and that'll do the same thing. So this way I can try a number of different things out, and all in the same file. So this is what I recommend you do. So don't work on your initial template, make a copy of it, and you can work on trying something out in one artboard, and if that doesn't work, then you can just make another copy and try it out in the next artboard without having to then undo history and that kind of thing. So let's go over to this artboard. So simplest way to connect these is just to draw some lines. So you can either use the pen tool, and don't try to connect the line to this path because then it'll start to mess up that path. So I would just cut the line directly across that path. If you want to, if you want the pen tool to go away, you can just hit, you can just double click. Oh no, hang on a second, maybe you can't. Escape, hit the escape key. And then you can put your second line in there, hit the escape key. Or you can just complete the shape, it doesn't really matter. Let's put another one, let's do a curvy one. So let's do one out here, but let's curve it around like this, and then curve it around like that. So that's your first option, is just to use either the pen tool, or you could also just use the curve tool. And if you wanted to make it a bit more of a sort of continuous curve. And then all you need to do is go and get your select tool, select everything, get your shape builder tool, and just drag it through all these shapes to connect them up. And you now have different shapes holding your frame in place. So that's the simplest. If you want to get a bit more personalized, you're going to want to bring in images to trace or to engrave with the laser cutter. So that's what I'm going to show you on this one. So step 1 is to bring in an image. Now we don't want to bring it in on the same layer as the actual picture frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click down here on new layer, and I'm going to just drag it down so it's underneath, and I'm going to select it. So I already went onto the internet, and I will just quickly switch over to here. So what I did was I searched for mountain range, and I'm looking for a good image to vectorize. So none of these have got way too much color, so we want something in black and white. So I'm going to go over here to Tools, and I'm going to click Type, and I'm going to click Line Drawing. So these are more the kinds of images that might work. And then I found, I'm not sure that's the one I found. I found one similar to this one, Continuous Line Drawing of a Mountain, and that's what I downloaded. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and place it on this layer below the other layer. So I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to go find my mountain range which I renamed it so I could find it. So if I click, there is the line drawing I downloaded from the internet. So I'll click on the selection tool so I can move it around. So now I need to resize this, and I'm going to use it. I want it to be at the top of my picture frame, so I'm going to kind of resize it a bit more, like this. Now this is going to be a engraving, so this is not actually going to be something that gets cut out, but I need to use it so I can add some other lines around it. So I've put that in place, so now I'm going to go back up here to layer 1, so now I'm drawing back on the original layer, and I'm going to go and get my, I think I'll just use my curve, whoops, let's make sure I can, oh, I went into isolation mode. Let's get out of isolation mode here. There we go. So we're going to click on layer 1, and I'm going to go get my, I think I'll probably use the curve tool. I'm just going to zoom in here, and I'm now going to draw a outside layer that sort of traces the same shape. And this is going to be the piece of, this is going to be the cardboard. Now if I don't want it to be curvy, I can just go over here and switch to my pen tool, and then I have a little bit more control over kind of how the curve works. And if I click on that again, it'll be straight lines. Maybe curve that one a little bit, and then we will just hit escape. And so there is my first line. Now you can see it's blue. That is because right now the stroke does not have any color in it. So let's go and make the stroke black. That's 1 point. So that's going to be the outside of that side of the mountain range. So now we're going to go over to this side. And I think I'll just use the curve tool. Oops, we're going to hit escape. So we're going to start over here, and we're just going to quickly do this really fast. When you're working on your own projects, you can take more time. And we're going to finish off there. Okay, so what I've done is I've drawn 2 connecting lines that are going to connect the inside frame with the outside frame. So to make things a little easier, I'm going to go turn off the picture, so now I can see how that's going to work. And now I'm going to go and select everything, get my shape builder tool, and I'm just going to drag it through. So now I can see how that's all one piece, and then I will turn this back on. So I could now see what that will look like. Okay, so that's going to be my engraved mountain. The last step is I need to do what's called vectorize this image, because right now it's a bitmap, it's little dots, and the laser cutter is not going to know how to trace that out. So you can see here I've now selected layer 2, so I can reselect this image. I'm going to go over here to properties, and I'm going to go to image trace. I'm going to pick low fidelity photo, and it's going to trace it. So now it is a vector file. So that's really important to do, so that it can be traced by the laser cutter. Okay, so I think that should be enough to get you started with connecting up the inside and outside frame in a way that, oh, last step, you can see here that I've got some little bits of lines that are sticking out. So I'm going to go get my direct selection tool, click that, and for some reason you have to just hit delete twice. I haven't quite figured that one out yet. Hit delete twice. I'm going to hit delete twice on that one, and I'm going to hit delete twice. Now I also just realized that I've got a sunshine in there. I'm going to do something about that. So my recommendation, don't import an image with a sunshine. I'll get back to you on how I'm going to fix that.